Welcome back to the DRS Zone. The wait is finally over.
Finally.
We have been talking about 2026 for years, literally years, speculating about the new engines, the active aero, the smaller chassis. Well, speculation time is officially over.
Oh, it's over.
The cars are on track in Bahrain, the sand is blowing, the wind is howling, and let me tell you, the grid has been absolutely turned upside down.
It has.
It is day 3 of preseason testing, and if you thought this was going to be a gentle ease into the new era, you are in for a massive shock.
It really is a baptism by fire out there. You mentioned the wind, and it's a huge factor at Sakir right now, but it's exposing the raw reality of these new machines. We are seeing who did their homework and who is, frankly, in absolute crisis mode. The grip is low, the cars are sliding, and we are finally seeing the true pecking order start to emerge from the data.
Exactly. And our mission today is simple. We're going to cut through the sandbagging. We're going to ignore the PR speak where everyone says, oh, we're just focusing on our own program.
Yeah, right. Usual lines.
No. We are breaking down who built a rocket ship and who built a tractor. Because looking at the timing screens and the on-track behavior, we have got Mercedes looking scary fast, we have a rookie lighting up the world, and we have a legendary designer's new car looking like, well, a complete disaster.
It's a fascinating mix of resurgence and collapse. And what's interesting is how quickly the narrative has shifted just from the Barcelona shakedown to now.
Okay, let's unpack this immediately. Let's start with the Titans, the big boys, and we have to start with the Silver Arrows. Mercedes. George Russell, day 3, clocks 78 laps, and he's the first one to dip into the 1-minute 33s. That car looks planted.
It does look planted, which is a massive relief for them. Remember, coming out of the Barcelona shakedown, which is basically just a filming day.
The shakedown, yeah.
Mercedes admitted they had reliability issues. There were whispers that the new power unit integration was tricky. I mean, the 2026 regulations require a 50-50 split between internal combustion and electric power. Getting those two systems to talk to each other without overheating is the biggest engineering challenge of the decade. But here in Bahrain, they have, to quote them directly, hit the ground running.
They look so confident.
Incredibly confident. The car is responding to changes, the cooling seems under control, and the pace is genuine.
But here is where it gets really interesting. It's not just Russell. It's the kid. Kimi Antonelli.
The phenom.
This young phenom gets in the car, and what does he do? He lowers the benchmark even further. 61 laps, fastest time. He is not driving like a rookie.
That is the pivotal data point for me. When a rookie can jump in amidst high winds and low grip and immediately find the limit without, constantly overstepping, it tells you the platform is stable.
Absolutely.
Antonelli's pushing, sure, but the car is with him. It suggests Mercedes might have nailed the active aero balance early on. Because remember, in 2026, the wings move.
A lot.
If the car balance shifts unpredictably when the wings adjust, a rookie is going to spin. Antonelli isn't spinning, he's flying.
Contrast that with Red Bull. Max Verstappen, gunning for title number 5.
Yeah.
He was second fastest earlier in the week, but it feels, I don't know, different this time. It's Red Bull and Ford now.
That is the big question mark answered. The Red Bull Ford powertrain. There was so much skepticism about Ford coming back into the sport after so long away, but honestly, it looks strong.
It really does.
If you look at the sister team, Racing Bulls, Liam Lawson did 119 laps on day 3 alone.
119.
That is massive mileage. That tells me the Ford engine is reliable, it's not blowing up, it's not overheating, and the energy deployment seems consistent.
Yeah, we saw a little flash of the competitive spirit, didn't we? Verstappen and Gabriel Bortoleto in the Audi having a little scrap on track.
I saw that.
Friends getting racy into turn 4 before the season even starts. I love seeing that.
It was great theater, but look closer at what Max was doing. He wasn't just racing. He was stress testing the car in dirty air. With the new aero rules, the weight coming off the cars is different. Max was purposefully putting his car in awkward positions behind the Audi to see if the front wing would stall. He was rumbling over curbs, taking tight lines. He's confident.
What?
But there is a sense that maybe, just maybe, Red Bull has lost that imperious half-second advantage they had in the previous regulation cycle. They are in the fight, but they aren't miles ahead.
Then we have the team. In red Ferrari, Lewis Hamilton. Sir Lewis, in the scarlet car, he had a few. Let's call them exploratory moments.
Oh, yeah. Off at turn 4, off at turn 6.
Finding the limit.
He is finding the limit, which is what you pay him to do. Hamilton is entering his second year in red, about to surpass 400 race starts. But what stands out to me about Ferrari is the silence. This is the one year they aren't making noise. Usually Ferrari is winning the Winter Championship with glory runs.
Right. This is our year. We hear it every February.
We haven't heard a peep this time. They are just grinding. Hamilton did over 130 laps in simulation. The reliability is high. The car, the SF26, looks compliant.
So they're not chasing headlines.
They're chasing data. That quiet confidence is actually more threatening to me than a purple sector time on day one. It suggests they know exactly what they have, and they don't feel the need to show it off yet.
And then there's McLaren. The papaya cars just going round and round. Oscar Piastri, day 3, 161 laps.
161.
That is almost 3 race distances in one day. That is insanity.
It's a marathon. And Piastri called it the smoothest test they've ever had. That is a very dangerous thing for the rest of the grid to hear.
It really is.
When a team knows exactly what the car likes this early, they can spend the next week refining performance, tweaking ride heights by millimeters, adjusting wing angles by half a degree, while everyone else is still fixing broken pumps or overheating brakes.
So what does this all mean for the top of the grid?
It means we have a definitive top 4. Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren, they are in a league of their own.
In the order.
A total mystery. We don't know fuel loads, we don't know engine modes, but if you're not in one of those 4 cars, you are looking at a very difficult season opener.
Speaking of difficult, let's talk about the driving, because this is the new F1. We keep mentioning the 2026 regulations, but what does that actually feel like?
Yeah.
The drivers are coming out of the cars saying they feel very light and have very low downforce compared to 2025. It looks like they are wrestling these things.
They are absolutely wrestling them. The cars are shorter, narrower, and lighter by about 30 kilograms, but the biggest change is the active aerodynamics.
Right, the wings.
The wings open up on the straights to reduce drag and snap shut in the corners for grip, but that transition isn't instantaneous. The drivers are reporting a feeling of floating before the downforce kicks in.
You can see it.
You can see it visually. The cars are moving around much more under braking. They don't just stick to the track like they're on rails anymore.
Okay.
And nowhere is this more obvious than turn 10.
Oh, the turn 10 nightmare. It's an off-camber left-hander, and it has been claiming victims all week.
Everyone?
Franco Colapinto, Carlos Sainz, Ollie Bierman, even the veterans are locking up and going wide there. It's like an ice rink.
It's a perfect storm of physics. Turn 10 requires you to brake while turning, which is the hardest thing to do in a race car.
Right.
Combine the off-camber slope pushing you away from the apex, the tricky wind, and this new floating sensation from the active aero, and it's brutal.
And the brakes.
Plus, the energy recovery systems are doing so much of the braking work on the rear axle now to charge that massive battery. If the computer gets the harvesting wrong, the brake balance shifts, you lock the front, and you're in the runoff.
And we are seeing some really cool technical details emerging, too. You notice something fascinating about the active aero adjustments in the pits, right?
This is where you see the difference in engineering philosophy. When the cars come into the pits to adjust the front wing angles, most teams like Mercedes and Ferrari have mechanics on both sides of the nose frantically turning screws to change the flap angle. It's the traditional way. But Red Bull, they have this unique hole right in the center of the nose. One mechanic, one tool, adjusts the whole thing from a single point.
That is so Red Bull.
Yes.
Just efficient.
It is efficient, but it also tells us they've packaged their active aero mechanism differently inside the nose cone. It's likely lighter and less prone to failure.
Now, Alpine.
Then look at Alpine. They have this radical rear wing design where the movement for the DRS and active aero is unique. It's not just the flap opening, the whole structure seems to interact differently. And credit to them, Ocon and Gasly seem competitive in the midfield.
Not in the top 4, though.
No, but they are leading that midfield scrum.
Let's talk about the new kids on the block. We can't ignore the fact that we have massive new manufacturers here. Audi and Cadillac.
Huge.
Let's start with Audi. The 4 rings are finally here, and the car looks brave.
Brave is a polite word for it. It's aggressive. They have these vertical side pod inlets that nobody else has. It shows they aren't just copying, they are trying to innovate. But innovation comes with risk. The reality on track is stark. It is unstable. We saw Nico Hülkenberg have that spectacular skid at turn 1. Bortolito locked up multiple times. They are really struggling with balance in the low-speed corners.
Yeah, watching Hülkenberg sideways is cool for the highlight reel, but it's not fast. Is this just teething problems?
It's more than that. Audi is running their own engine program, which is a massive undertaking. The drivability, how smooth the power comes when you hit the pedal, seems rough. Hülkenberg is fighting the car because the power delivery isn't linear yet. They have a mountain to climb.
And then we have the Americans, Cadillac, Bottas, and Perez. They had red flags, reliability issues, the car stopped on track. It looked a bit messy.
It was messy, but context is everything here. Cadillac is effectively a new entry, backed by General Motors. Just getting a car to Bahrain that doesn't fall apart immediately is an achievement.
That's a fair point.
They recovered well after the initial failures. They got the laps in eventually. You have to remember, for Cadillac, this is year one. They are likely fighting at the back, yes. But the effort to get that car reliable enough to do 100 laps is huge. They are in survival mode, but they're surviving.
And Williams. I hate to say it, but it sounds like a tough start.
It is heartbreaking for Williams fans. They missed the Barcelona shakedown completely, which puts them miles behind on data.
Ouch.
The car is reportedly overweight, which is the cardinal sin in F1. Extra weight costs them about 0.3 of a second per lap just for existing.
Wow.
And we saw Albon struggling with clutch issues during practice starts. When you are heavy and you can't get off the line, you are in for a long, painful year.
Okay, we have covered the fast and we have covered the struggling. But now we have to talk about the crisis. And I mean crisis.
This is the big one. This is the story that is going to dominate the headlines until Melbourne.
This segment is part of our news coverage of recent F1 events. We need to talk about Aston Martin. This was supposed to be the super team, right?
Yep.
They built the new billion-dollar factory. They signed Adrian Newey, the god of aerodynamics. They have the Honda engine exclusively. This was the year they were supposed to challenge Max.
On paper, it was the perfect storm for success. In reality, it looks like a perfect storm of failure.
Let's look at the facts. Lance Stroll, in an interview, admitted they are, get this, 4.5 seconds off the pace.
4.5.
4.5 seconds. In Formula One, that is an eternity. That is a different zip code.
It's worse than a different zip code. It's a different racing category. If that deficit is real, they aren't even racing F2 cars. They are just mobile chicanes.
And the visuals.
The visuals back it up. I spent time watching trackside at the hairpin. The Aston Martin AMR 26 looks broken. It's incredibly stiff. It doesn't absorb the bumps. It bounces off them. In these ground effect cars, if the suspension is too stiff, you lose mechanical grip instantly.
And the lockups. Stroll and Alonso constantly locking up at turn 10. Massive clouds of smoke. But you noticed something even weirder, didn't you? The sound.
Yes. This is the detail that has everyone in the paddock whispering. When the Aston Martin locks its rear wheels, there is a strange silence from the engine.
Silence.
Usually you hear the engine trying to fight the lockup or the downshifts blipping aggressively. With the Aston, it just goes quiet.
What does that mean? Walk us through the mechanics of that silence.
It suggests a fundamental disconnect between the Honda power unit's energy harvesting and the mechanical braking system.
Okay.
Remember, 50% of the power is electric now. To charge that, the rear brakes are effectively generators. When the driver hits the pedal, the engine is supposed to provide resistance to slow the car down while generating electricity.
Right.
The silence suggests that the harvesting is cutting out. It's keep pulling the handbrake on a bicycle, the wheel just stops. If the driver can't predict how the engine will slow the car down, they have zero confidence. And with these new active aero cars, confidence is everything.
The atmosphere in that team. Wow. Lance Stroll's interview was icy. They asked him about the test, and he said, the weather was nice and the livery looked good.
That's it.
That's it. That is all he had to say.
That is the sound of a driver who knows he is in trouble. And Fernando Alonso, he is the master of spin. He is trying to say, oh, we missed Barcelona, so we're just behind on schedule. But his body language, it screams panic. Alonso is over 40. He does not have time to wait for a development year. He wants to win now.
So the million-dollar question. How can an Adrian Newey car with a Honda engine be this bad?
Well, we have to clarify the timeline. Adrian Newey was on gardening leave for a long time. For those listening who don't know, that's the mandatory non-compete period where he effectively gets paid to sit on a beach so he can't transfer secrets immediately.
Right.
He arrived late to this project. His influence on this specific launch spec might be limited. They are waiting for his real magic to kick in later in the season.
Flip the engine.
But the bigger worry is the engine. Honda seems significantly behind Ford and Mercedes on that complex electric integration we talked about. Newey can fix the aero, but he can't fix the engine mapping.
So they were waiting for Newey to fix the aero, and waiting for Honda to fix the engine. That sounds like a long wait.
It is, and while they wait, the rest of the grid is moving forward. The verdict right now, they aren't fighting for wins, they aren't fighting for podiums. They might be fighting just to get out of Q1.
Unbelievable.
For a project with that much investment, Lawrence Stroll's billions, the new campus, the talent hire, that is a potential disaster.
It's shocking. Truly shocking. So let's rack this up. We have a clear split. The top four Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren are ready for war. The midfield Alpine Racing Bulls is a brawl. And the backmarkers are just trying to survive the new regulations.
It's going to be a fascinating season of development. The rate of improvement will be vertical. Where you start in Bahrain is not where you will finish in Abu Dhabi.
Here is a provocative question for you to chew on before we go. With Aston Martin 4 seconds off the pace and Mercedes looking dominant again, did the 2026 regulations actually fix the field? Or did they just break the teams that weren't ready?
That is the question of the year.
Make sure you follow DRS Zone on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube for daily updates as we head toward the first race. We are going to be tracking every update, every rumor, and every crisis.
We'll be watching.
Keep your foot down. We'll see you at the next deep dive.